feeling temperature-wise. Maybe taking a sigh. You can do that a couple of ways. You can sigh just like you're used to doing, probably, right? Just out your mouth. Or you could also blow out through pursed lips. And doing that tends to reset your breathing pattern, and it also can help begin to lower your heart rate. So last week we were focusing on part of the second sutra of Patanjali, and it was about balancing effort or stability with ease, right? And we're going to go into a different part of that sutra, which is about trying to find a sense of effortlessness, even as you're working. So, even as you're doing a yoga pose, can you get to a place where you're using the least amount of effort possible, right? And it's something that you develop over time. It doesn't just happen right like that, right? So you might find yourself struggling in certain poses, but can you try to find ease wherever you can and make the movements as fluid as possible with the purpose of coming to your essential nature? That's the idea, like kind of finding how everything's just flowing, you feel at peace, right? Through your asana practice. And maybe that can transfer to our daily lives too, right? But we just start with it on the mat in this kind of practice. So right now, notice how you can find ease even while you try to find an upright seat. Maybe you can find ease in your jaw. And you might not feel very easeful today in your mind, and that's okay, right? So this is also about accepting and welcoming in whatever is present for you right now, even if it's unpleasant, right? So you can practice this by even saying to yourself, I'm welcoming in this feeling. So it's a different attitude than pushing away unpleasantness and just experimenting. What happens if you welcome in whatever is there? Whatever physical sensations are there, whatever mental and emotional sensations are there. And then beginning to breathe a little bit wider on your inhale. And you can breathe out through your mouth or you can breathe out through your nose. You could even use Ujjayi breathing. So finding a sense of effortlessness with your breath, even as you begin to pay attention to it and control it. And then as you're ready, could begin to make some movement. So just little spirals around through your torso, or circles, I should say, around in the torso. If you need to adjust your legs at any time, feel free to do that. You can make these circles big or you can make them small. Good. And then reversing those circles. Good. And then you can spiral into the center so that you're just upright in the center again. Good. And then if you want to, you can even try to spiral your rib cage, which might be a little trickier, right? That's like you're moving through your upper back and your ribs around and around. You go forward to the side, back to the other side, and you reverse it. Can you keep a sense of fluidity with your breath? Getting into any sticky spots you might have in your upper back and your side body. Good. And then when you're ready, you can come to the center again. And now let's spiral the neck. So it's like you've got a pen on the end of your nose, and you're just going to draw a circle with it that starts in the center and gets wider each time. Just keep breathing. Noticing how your neck feels. And when you get to your widest circle, you can reverse it and now spiral inward toward the center. So just going smaller and smaller each time. Good. And then when you get to the center, just inhaling, sitting up tall while you still feel grounded. Good. Exhale. And then let's inhale, begin to roll the shoulders around. Can go either direction with them. Noticing how it's feeling through your upper body and your shoulders. If you got any tension around the neck. Yeah. You can reverse the circles if you want to. Good. And then letting your shoulders just hang there, following your breath in and out. We're going to take our legs into a side seat. So one leg is bent forward and the other leg is bent back. Now, if this doesn't work in your body, you could do windshield wipers like this instead, just kind of leaning back. All right. Otherwise, you've got one leg forward, one leg back. Doesn't matter because we're going to be switching. Okay. And you're going to take your hands behind your back, try to lift the knees and take them to the other side without picking up the feet. And just go side to side. If you need to adjust where you are in your space, you can do that. Yeah, so the wider you take your feet, the more 90-degree bends you've got at knees and hips, the deeper it'll get. So just adjust for what you need. Yeah, it's kind of
the right spot.
That's okay. Yeah, I just here, there you go. Yeah. And now you guys, you can add in a twist. So you can reach the arm around, twisting around either high or low. Again, we're going for as much effortlessness as you can, right? So how fluid can you make the movement? Keep breathing. Good. Now you can even not use hands behind your back. I mean, maybe, right? So only if that feels good to you. Can go side to side, twist and reach. Good. All right, now let's end up with the right leg in front, and you'll need to adjust where you are, at least if you're in the studio, so that you're facing the front of your mat. So the right leg would be somewhat parallel to the front edge of your mat. And you can tuck it in if it doesn't feel good out there. Okay, you can put your hands on either side of your front knee, right? So like this, okay. And as you exhale, you could try to hinge forward toward that hip, only if that works in your body. And then inhale, lift back up. So your back leg is folded back as long as it doesn't hurt there, okay? And then exhale, I'm going to try to bring that back leg forward. Perhaps grab it with your right hand and twist to the left. Okay, keep breathing. So you're going to let your breath be fluid. Now I'm going to take that leg and put it back. Right? Face your front knee and hinge forward any amount. Good. You can put your hands there or not. Come back up and then lean a little to your right to help you get that left leg forward. You can float it or put it down and twist and repeat. Okay, here we go. Good. So again, you're making this movement fluid if you can, and making it your own. So it's okay if it doesn't look like mine, or if it doesn't look like the people around you, right? Try to just feel for what's working for you and move at your own pace. Okay. We'll do about 3 more. Notice if you start to hold your breath and see if you can keep your breath going. Letting go of tension in the shoulders and the jaw. Good. So after your third, and if you're not sure, you can just stop at any time. You'll gently switch yourself to the left leg in front. Okay. And check in with your knees, see where they need to be for your own body and your hips. Okay. And we'll do the same thing. So the maybe the front shin is parallel to the front edge of your mat, or maybe it's tucked in more. Can place your hands so you can face your knee. You might exhale and hinge if that feels okay. And then inhale to rise and exhale to bring that back leg forward. You can hold it with the left hand and twist to the right. Good. Good. And repeat. Okay. So just finding this fluid motion here, taking your time. So using just enough effort in your movements. There's this quote that I like. I think it's Eleanor Roosevelt, but it's instead of trying harder, try softer, right? So it's like, huh, and that really rings true for me because I always try really hard at stuff. Right? So it's like, oh, what if I just let go and allow, right? Let go a little bit, let things happen, and then things might start to open up more. Let's do about 2 or 3 more, whatever your pace is here. Good. And then as you're ready, we'll transition to a tabletop position. Good. And let's just start to circle again. So we're going back to this spiral movement, just around. I'm just circling my hips around. Feel free to pad your knees or to be on forearms if you want. Let your neck and jaw soften. And I'll spiral the other way. We're trying to be in the process, right? Letting go of any goals or trying to perfect anything. Now, if you want to come to center when you're ready and go through some cats and cows, exhaling as you round, we'll try to link our breath now and inhale as you arch. Now let's try to do it a little more sequentially if you want to. So what I mean by that is when I come from this rounded position, I'm going to try to move my tail first. And imagine I could move one vertebra at a time. I'm articulating them. You might have to take more than one breath. And then when I get to my arched position, my head comes up last, I'll move the tail again and see about going sequentially again. Just keep breathing. Whenever you find your mind off somewhere, just notice what you're focusing on and feel for coming back into your body, into what's happening right now. Good. After doing a couple of sequentials, you might try to move the ribs here as though you had like a spatula inside your ribs, like you scrape the cake batter or something around a bowl, and you're going around and around on one direction and then the other direction. Just trying to break up tight spaces. Good. And now let's come to the center, just in a tabletop. Okay. And we'll inhale, spread the shoulder blades. So just pressing into the hands without rounding the spine. So watch me for a second. See how there's a difference between this. Here, I'll turn sideways and then I'll show you guys at home. Between this and between this, right? I'm just here, but my shoulder blades are wide. They're protracted. Okay. They're protracted. They're moving forward. And now I'm going to try to retract them. I think we did this last week a little bit. No? Okay. And then we'll widen them. Now, if you've never, some of you have done this with me a lot, so you can just get right into it. And some of you have never done it with me. And so if you come up, you can also do it here, where you retract, kind of squeeze the shoulder blades toward one another without elevating them. So they're not going up, they're just going toward one another, and then spread them apart, push forward. So just straight back, straight forward, straight back, straight forward. And then you can try to do it here. And you can imagine your shoulder blades are just easily gliding around the rib cage. And you try to keep your spine in neutral. And this is great for neck tension and posture, and also creating shoulder stability. Now you could try to roll your shoulder blades. So roll your shoulders, just like we did when we were seated. It's the same idea, okay? And rolling them around. And then try to go the opposite way, keep breathing. Good. All right. Now let's find our two blocks if you have them at home. If you don't have them at home, you don't have to use blocks. And let's place our hands on them. What I'm going to do is go from tabletop. I'm going to exhale back to child's pose, sitting towards my heels. And then I'm going to round my spine as I inhale and come back up to tabletop. And then I'm going to tilt my tail upwards, exhale, go back to child. So again, fluidity here. Don't worry about getting it just right. Just flowing between these two positions. Get some movement going in all these joints. Hydrating them. Waking up to them. Now you can make this your own, you can stick with what you're doing, or you could even add in a little bit of coming forward into a cobra or a modified up dog. Just if you do that, make sure you use your core to exhale as you go back. And let your breath be continuous. Nice, you guys. When you're ready, we'll come up and just find tabletop with hands on the floor again. Okay, and we'll inhale to reach the right arm up as you twist open to the right. And then as you exhale, you're going to thread that arm underneath the left arm, letting the left elbow bend, and maybe your left shoulder can come down and your head. And you can, if it doesn't reach the floor, you could use a blanket or a prop here. You might want to tuck your chin in. You might want to press into that left hand a little bit to open up the upper back. So yeah, so the hand with the elbow up can do that. It just depends. You can play around with it. And just keep breathing here, following the breath in and following it out. So as you're here, can you find a sense of effortlessness somewhere? Good. And then on your next exhale, let's come out just by pressing into the left hand back to tabletop. Good. Just get yourself oriented here. And then as you're ready, we'll inhale, reach the left arm up and exhale to thread. Letting that right arm bend, just going slowly to feel into this side. It might be quite different. Might want to tuck in the chin a little bit. You can always take your blanket and set it below your head or below your shoulder. Right? And as you're here, make some adjustments to notice, what do you need to do to make this work for your body? You can make it your own, right? And that might mean even being in a different pose, right? That's always an option. Using your breath here. Good. And then as you're ready, let's press back up to tabletop. Good. And let's keep our hands on the floor for the first part of this. So now let's tuck our toes and we're going to tilt the tail up toward the ceiling, right? And then as you exhale and lift the knees, keep the knees bent as you press to down dog, trying to keep that tail untucked. It might mean you keep your knees bent the whole time. And then on your inhale, let's round the spine and softly lands the knees back down on the floor. Okay, and come back out to tail up. Exhale back to downward facing dog or Adho Mukha Shavasana. Inhaling down. If this is too much for your body, you can go back to the table child, right? This one that we did before, right? So if you're like, no, this is too much for my wrists or whatever it may be, go back here. And if you want a little more, you could, instead of rolling down to knees, you could roll forward to plank. So you come out to a plank pose on the inhale and on the exhale back to downward dog. So choose your own adventure here. You could even do a knees down plank, which is a little different than tabletop, a little more core engaged, right? Tail is tucked. Okay, let's do a few more of these, trying to find the fluidity and ease of your movement in whatever you're choosing to do. The tuck is in plank. In down dog, we're untucked. Yeah, or we're trying to, as just as best as you can. Good. And then next time you come forward, let's place knees down if they're not already. And now we'll take our hands back to our blocks. Yeah, if you need a wrist break, you can take a wrist break and roll the wrists a little bit, whatever you need to do. Okay. And you can just watch me for a second too. All right. So what I'm going to do in this one is protract the shoulder blades, right? So they're wide. And then I'll inhale and I'm going to be lifting my right leg up. And as I exhale, I'm going to round my spine. I could even have my blocks on the high level, which will help a lot of people, so that I can step my leg forward to a half kneel. And then we'll be rising up from there. Okay. So pick a height. Let's try the medium height here. Just try it and then see if you can always change it to the lower height. Okay. So your shoulder blades are wide. So you've got stability through the shoulders. Okay. Find your breath. And on your inhale, let's lift the right knee back and up like you're stamping your foot on the ceiling. And as you exhale, start to bring the knee forward, rounding the spine and stepping that right foot forward between the blocks. Good. Now inhale, let's start to rise up. You can pad the knee if you haven't already, and take your hands behind your head. Good. Exhale. And then inhale, let's open the chest if you can, or just lift it. Good. And then exhale, let's come back down to our blocks. Okay, we're going to do the same side again. Okay, so we're going to inhale, take that knee back and up. Good. Exhale, bring it forward, round the spine, step between the blocks. Now, you don't have to take the hands behind your head, right? You could leave the hands down if you want. Hit pause for the breath, just find it. And on an inhale, open up if you can. Good. And then on the exhale, come back down. Let's do one more. Okay. So we'll inhale, right leg goes back, reaches up. And exhale, round as you place the foot forward. Try to find some ease and fluidity as you rise up. Hands behind head if you want. Inhale. Good. And now exhale, we'll come back and just set both knees down. Good. Now, if you want padding and you haven't had it yet, you can get it. I'm going to use it for this side. Good. And now protract those shoulder blades, right? When you're ready, find your breath. Let's inhale to lift the left knee up. And exhale to bring it forward, rounding as you step. Inhale as you rise. You can take as many breaths as you need to do this. And exhale as you start to lower. And inhale, taking the leg back and up. And exhale, rounding as you step it forward. Inhale to rise and open. And exhale down. Good. One more. Inhale back and up. Exhale forward. Inhale, rise. Good. And exhale down, and we'll just step the knee back to the other knee. And you can go back into child's pose or puppy dog pose with hips high, or downward facing dog, whichever one you prefer. Okay. You can have your arms on the blocks for a little more opening, or you could take them off the blocks to make it a little gentler if you're in child or puppy. Good. And then following your breath in and following your breath out. Where can you let go of effort here? So in this pose that we're holding, we've been doing a lot of fluid movement. And now you're holding a pose, right? Notice where your attention is. And can you begin to spread your attention throughout your whole body? Or feel the grounding of your body on the floor or the props. Let's take 2 more breaths in whatever pose you've chosen. Good. And then as you're ready, you could come up to downward dog with your hands on the blocks. Now, of course, you can modify and just be in tabletop too. You can have them on either height, the medium or the low. And stretching back, we're just going to be here for a moment. I'm going to inhale to bend my knees. And exhale, step the right leg outside the right block, or as close as you can get it, okay? And then the left leg outside the left block. And then just get yourself into the squat-like position, and you can move your blocks forward. Okay, so now we're going to try a movement where we're going to try to keep our heels down on the floor and our hands flat on a surface. So it could be on blocks, it could be on a chair, or it could be on the floor. Okay, it kind of just depends on your body, all right? What we're gonna do is inhale, as you squat and try to bring your chest forward, heels stay down. So only go as far as you can with your heels down, okay? And then exhale, I'm going to try to keep my hands flat. So I might need my blocks to straighten the legs and look between them, okay? And then repeat. So you're inhaling, squatting, good. And you're exhaling, folding. Just go slowly here. Now a chair is an option too. Keep going, just taking your time. Take your weight into your heels as you do that squat. So this is the chair, I'm just a lot higher, right? So if I needed more support or if it didn't feel good, you can grab a chair, and here you guys will get tons of them back there. Okay, yeah, good. Good. So really feeling into what your body needs and noticing how your back feels, right? So if your back doesn't feel good folding forward like this, you can also keep your chest lifted, right? And see if that helps. Good. When you guys are squatting, let's pause there if it feels okay to do so. Some of you are super wide. Does that feel good to be way out here? You might want to be less wide. You can see, right? You can always rest your elbows on your thighs or your a chair, right? And then your toes can be turned out or in. It doesn't matter. Okay. Yeah, but can you take your weight to your heels so we get a little more in our back body? Good. And can you lift your chest? Yeah, that's it. Good. And breathe. Now, if you wanted to, you could come down deeper and be in a malasana. Not everybody's body can or wants to do that right now, okay? So you don't have to, right? But you can. And sometimes people need a spacer behind their knees if your knees hurt, and you just take a rolled up mat or blanket. So you can test it, right, and see, but no pressure, right? You're just kind of seeing how it feels. Good. Now let's go to our forward fold. Any variation. Your hands don't have to be flat anymore. Your knees can be bent. Your feet can be closer together. Let your neck go. Good. And just breathe. If you want to move around a little bit, you can. Following your breath in and following your breath out. Okay, imagine you've got like a faucet at the top of your head, and you're just opening up that faucet and letting everything you want to let go of out of your mind. Imagine it's just running out the faucet. And now let's inhale, taking hands above knees and reaching your chest forward. Good. And exhale, we're going to come back into a forearm on the knees squat, or they could be on the chair, your hands, right? So just a place you can hold for a moment. And you can widen or narrow the feet, whatever feels good. And inhale, reach your chest forward, and exhale, could you take your right hand to your right thigh and do a little twist? Good. And then inhale, come back, elbows to thighs. You could always do this seated too. I'm thinking of Barbara here at home. And then exhale, hand to left thigh and twist. Good. And let's do each side again. If you need to straighten the legs in between, feel free. Good. And then next time you come through the center, let's just stand. Good. Inhale, roll the shoulders up. Yeah, you can reach them up too. Exhale down your back. And again. And you might want to get your feet a little more below your hips. So let's just imagine you're on that trampoline here. Do you guys want more cool air blowing? Yeah, okay. Yeah, let me get that going. So we're just doing bouncy, bouncy, bouncies. You guys at home, like we're on a trampoline, like boom, boom, boom. Yeah, you can do big bounces. You can do small bounces. You can actually hop if it feels better, like get a little, yeah, just notice, right? Good. And then pausing and noticing, right? Your eyes can be open or closed. So just through this bit of movement, notice if you feel any different now course, there'll be some temperature difference, but like, how do you feel any different as your whole body, your body awareness, your mental state? Maybe, maybe not. And sometimes it's just like a 1% difference, but that's a change. Okay. And then when you're ready, let's inhale to reach the arms up and exhale, just bring them out to the sides and down. We're just going to do that 2 more times. Okay. So you're going inhale up and exhale down. Good. Now this next time we're going to fold forward toward our blocks or your chair. Okay. Either one. And I'll show it with the chair in a moment. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees so you can get your hands on your block or your chair. And we're going to take the left leg back to a high lunge. Now, I left my padding there because I'm going to also show this with a knee down lunge if that's preferred by you. Okay. So you want to have your hands below your shoulders. And if you're using the chair, it's just close enough, right? So if you're using the chair, which I really like, I do this all the time with people, to have my foot underneath the chair. So I'm kind of close there. Okay. So either chair or blocks. Right? And now if you're using the blocks, you're going to have your left hand on the block as you exhale and twist open to the right. Do you want the chair, Joy? Oh, no. Okay. Inhale here. And then exhale, let's bring that right hand down and put your hand, if you're using blocks, by the pinky toe edge of your foot. Spin the left heel down to the floor and twist open. You can take more than one breath here as you're getting used to this. So the heel is down in the back on this one. Yeah. And now bring it down, bring the left arm down. The heel comes up in the back, so you're in a lunge, and then exhale, open to the right. All right, so you're going back and forth like this. When I like to do this, I go inhale down, and then I put the foot down. So I spin the foot out so I can put the heel down and twist open on exhale. Good, keep going, you guys, your own pace. Can be using blocks or chair. And I like to have my blocks on the high level, but they could be on the medium level, whatever you prefer. Now let's hold open one of the twists. It doesn't matter which side you're on because we're going to do both. Okay. Now here we are in a somewhat challenging pose, right? It may be more challenging for some than others. You can test it out. Can you bring your block here? That's it. Yeah, that's it. Okay. And notice, can you find ease or effortlessness somewhere? So that might mean changing your head position. It might mean changing your arm position. Like maybe it just comes down or goes to your hip, right? Good. How about through your legs? You're using those a lot. Can you use just enough effort here for your body right now and for today? Good. One more breath. And now let's exhale to come out, and you'll go to the second side. So some will be lifting their heels, some will be spinning their foot down, right? Just depends on which side you're on. And go to the other side. On the chair, you guys at home, just looks like this, okay? Okay, remember, where can you find just enough effort for you today? What kind of arm position? Where do you want your head and neck? Can you find some ease with your breath? Good. Now on your next exhale, let's come down. Good. So from here, there's a few options. You can step back to plank and then downward dog with your hands on the floor, or child's pose. Or if you have a chair, you can also go to downward dog with the chair, which is lovely. Okay, so you just put your hands on the chair. With this one, let's not have these this high. I just feel like it's so tippy. Yeah, right there. Good. So whatever gives you the amount of effort you want right now, right? And that might be child's pose. It might be seated. It might be down dog. Let's take 3 more breaths here, noticing where you can find some ease. As you guys, now from here, we're gonna end up in a left leg forward lunge. So if you're using the chair, you bend the knees and step it forward, or if you're in down dog, bend the knees and step forward. If you're on your knees, just get your left leg up and then find where you want your hands. So whether you want your hands on your chair or on your high blocks, okay, good. Just get set up here. Shoulders below or above your wrists. Breathing, following it in, following it out. Good. You could always do this. I did forget to show that. You could do it with your knee on the floor too, right? So you could be twisting like this. Okay, we're going to start our twist. Let's start with the right hand down, twisting open to the left. I'm showing it with knee down now. Good. I'm going to pause for your breath this first round. And then when you're ready, inhale, coming back down, and exhale. If you're doing it with knee up, your foot turns to the side as you twist open to the right. And just keep going your own pace. You could come down on the inhale and twist open on the exhale. Or you could take more breaths than that. And again, less effort could be on knee. With mobility or any issues, you could be using the chair. Good. And do let me know if you have any questions. You know, if you just can't find the way to make it work for your own body here, let me know. Yeah, okay. And if you're at home, you can unmute. Yeah, Marian. You know, it doesn't really matter, but if you're working on foot strength, I would do equal pressure with your arch lifted.
Which arch? That one?
This arch, but you, yeah, this arch primarily, not that one so much here. Yeah. Yeah, that'll, for that foot, I would do that. I remember now your stuff with your foot. Good, you guys. Now let's hold one of them. Did I already say that? No, I didn't. You need a break. Hold one of them. You might do a shorter hold this time round, right? But remember, you can always drop to the knee too, right? Or grab your chair. Good. Finding a sense of ease somewhere. Does that mean looking down? Does that mean bringing the arm down? Good. And then switching to the second side. Finding ease might mean patting the knee on the floor. It might mean taking a break altogether. Good. Good. And now let's come down and find your way back to any of those poses we did before. It could be chair down dog. It could be child's pose. It could be floor down dog, or even something else. Okay. Let's take a sigh now. Just kind of letting go. I'm sensing a lot of you are kind of working really hard in this today. You know, it could be the heat. It could just be the movements in your body today. So where can you let go of some effort here and just soften? Letting go of some effort even in your thinking brain, thinking mind. Good. And now as you're ready, let's come up onto hands and knees. I've got my knees padded. And I'm just gonna put my hands on the floor for this one, but you could use a block too. I'm gonna turn toward the right. And so I think we did this last week too. I'm just spinning the lower leg around. So I'm in a modified side plank. I've got my left arm down. It could also be on the block, right? Hand on block. And I'm just going to make big circles with that right arm. Can you move your left shoulder blade away from your ear? So just bring it down in your back. That's it. Yeah, just bring it down if you can. And now let's come down, bringing the right arm down back to your tabletop and switching sides. So your hand can be on the block or the floor. The block makes it a little easier. My right lower leg spins behind me. My left leg out stretches, and then reaching up. You can make these big circles, letting your torso move or just the shoulder. And move that right shoulder blade away from your ear. Get a little more stable there. Good. And then coming back down. Let's take the blocks out of the way. And I'm going to come into a modified forearm plank. So I'm coming forward onto my forearms and I'm protracting my shoulder blades. My knees are on my blanket and I'm tucking my tail, and my neck is at ease. Good. So lift your lower belly away from the floor. So, and if you're feeling it in your low back, just come out, okay? Maybe that you got something going on and you're not able to get that tuck under enough. Lengthen your tail towards your heels. Yeah, drawing that belly and feel like you're moving your armpits toward your heels. Good, and then take a break, either coming down to your belly, or you can go back to child's pose or puppy dog pose. And if you're on your belly, you can take your arms however you'd like. Like you might want to pad your forehead, or you could turn your head to one side. As you breathe in, feeling your breath expand toward the floor. And as you breathe out, letting go. Good.